Yo, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Tiger Talk with Shaq. Tiger Talk with Shaq. I'm warming up. Podcast, boy, I get on the mic. Show you everything you want to hear. Yeah, that's right. Talking sportscast and motivational. That's what I do. Everybody talking tough. Well, you ain't even met my crew. I could do the same thing when I'm doing it fast. Matter of fact, I finished first. Boy, I never be last. The podcast is moving up the ladder quick and it's fast. And if you getting out of line, then we gonna kick you. Well, what's up, yo? Tiger Talk with Shaq, man. You know I'm just playing, man. Hey, listen, I love what we do, man. I love how we do it, man. And I appreciate you coming in on this segment, in this episode. Man, feels good to be here, though. Hey, before we get started, man, we appreciate Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. We appreciate you guys rocking with us, man. All the aces, shout out to y'all. These are the ones that always support, always come through, always show love. That being said, man, if you're trying to find me on the Meta, Instagram, Twitter, man, Coach Shaq Bryant on Facebook, Shaq Bryant. Remember, my Shaq is spelled with a K, not a Q. So when you Tiger Talk with Shaq, man, make sure it's a K at the end of Shaq and not a Q, not Shaquille O'Neal. It's Shaq Bryant in this building. Hey, man, if you're trying to find a website, man, and we got the website pulled up for the YouTube crowd, man, what we're going to do is this, show you how to do it. You go to Tiger Talk with Shaq with a K, all right? Tiger Talk with Shaq, SHAK, .me. And when you get there, you'll see this mic on there, and you scroll down, and those are all the new videos right there, man. We got video 36, 35, and 34 up. And if you want to try and find out more about me and the channel, is right there for you, man. So with that being said, man, we are on, and I am here, and I'm excited, and I'm glad to see everybody. What's happening? Man, it feel like I be gone too long, man, because I love what I do, man, and I do what I love. And so, man, I am excited to be here, man. I'm excited to be breathing. You don't understand how many people are losing their lives. You know, you talk about Tracy Braxton, man. She lost her life the other day at 50 years old. That's a half a dollar. That's a half of a lifetime. I think these days, man, with all of the new technology and all of that stuff, man, you're not supposed to check out of here to at least 75, man. God, give me 82. I'll take 82 in a minute, man. You know what I mean? Old school John Taylor jersey. That's what I want. Man, at least, man. But hey, we're going to get right into it, man. Hey, we're going to double back on this topic that we were talking about before yesterday with Ellie. Man, we're going to talk about what is NIL or NIL. If you didn't see the live broadcast, I wouldn't want you to miss it just in case you're not on YouTube. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this mug on Anchor. And we're going to highlight some of the things that she said, some of the things that I learned, also some of the things that I know. All right, with that being said, man, hey, let's transition. Wait, before we get started, hold on, man. I almost forgot, man. Before we get started, listen, I got the best phone call that I have received in about 10 years. And it wasn't anything with money, although I would take that. But it was just somebody who's been in my life forever, man. Always show me love, always keep it a band. You know, we were talking earlier, he and I, and you know, one thing about the rappers and things of that nature, these entertainers that, you know, come up quick and fall early is because they're not having the right type people around them. And I'm blessed that I have a great support team, man. And I'm blessed that I have a support team that's going to be honest with me. You know, a lot of times in my personal life, you know, that doesn't always go over well, you know, but this conversation did go over well. You know, I think that when we love people, man, we have to find a right balance in the equation. You know, I was talking with somebody the other day, you know, it's not pretty much what you say to a person, it's how you deliver it. And not only did this person tell me that they were enjoying the show and gave me super props. I mean, he said that he was proud of me and loved me, you know what I mean? Like 30, 40 times, man, at least. And, you know, but also with that being said, he's going to keep it real with me too. You know what I mean? And he told me, man, I better get my behind back in church. And somebody that's been around me all the time, man, that I respect, that goes 100% full speed ahead, man, and don't cut no corners, man. I appreciate that. So you're going to see the boy in church on Sunday. I should have kept that under wraps, but I got to get back. Okay. So shout out to my dog though, man. Somebody that's been around, man, supporting me, been giving me great advice and sound wisdom. Always open his house. I come over his house. He feed me food, all type of stuff like this. I miss the man cave that we used to hang out in. But hey, man, distance is a mother. You know what I mean? And I have not been able to be around this man like I should. But without further ado, man, hey, big shout out to my uncle, man, Cornell Daniels. Excuse me, Cornell Daniels. I almost said Carnell. He would have killed me. Cornell Daniels, man. I've been around him forever. He never protested to have a perfect life, but he always protested to be 100 with me. You know what I mean? And give me advice and things of that nature. I truly love him, man. Truly appreciate him. And that was a heck of a phone call, man. I am simply touched by that. So shout out to my uncle, man. Anybody that know me, man, I'm a sensitive softy. Uh I am no, man. I'm so tough on the exterior, man. But when it's somebody that's close to me, man, I am a sensitive sucker, man. I want to show my loyalty. I want to make sure, that I always treat them with the highest regard, man. So, Uncle, you are that dude, man. You are the guy. You are that bomb. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that, man, more than you know. Let's go ahead and get right in the segment, man. I tried to transition before, man, but one thing I know, I never want to not appreciate somebody. I never want to not show somebody their flowers. I never want to not make sure I appreciate people, because you got to know life is short, man. We could be here today and gone tomorrow. With that being said, man, I'm so glad to be alive. So glad to be able to blink my eyes. So glad to be able to breathe through my nostrils and taste things and smell and you know what I mean? And hear things and be able to move all my limbs because somebody didn't. You know what I mean? I'm so happy that I'm not dead or in jail because somebody is. I'm so happy that I have the ability to take care of my bills and stuff like that because somebody can't. You know what I mean? I'm so happy, man. And with that being said, man, we're going to jump into it. So, what is a NIL? Well, first off, a NIL is name, image, and likeness. And what that means is this: the name, of course, your name, your brand. Okay, you're a sole proprietorship, which means that you need to create an LLC before you get this done. You cannot receive any money or any monetary gain without the FBI trying to track it. Okay, and the IRS trying to track it. Remember that when you make anything over 10,000, the FBI is informed. That's why all these big drug dealers and people in the hood and community, you know what I mean, that was trapped and stuff like that. Once you make a purchase for more than $9,999 or receive $9,999, the FBI will be on your door, man. And it's gonna sound like this. What? Open the door, ATF or FBI. You know what I'm saying? It's like that, that's how it goes down, man. Like y'all said, go down in the DM. That's how I go down in the DM. But listen, so once you declare yourself a sole proprietorship, that just basically meaning that you're opening a business for you to conduct business, if that makes sense. So if they're gonna pay Shaq Bryant, then I need a LLC saying Shaq Bryant. That way, the FBI, the IRS, and everybody can track that money. They don't just give out free money with free write-offs. You know what I'm saying? But name, that's who you are. Also, image, that's what you present. So basically, you can't have any stupid stuff like smoking on your Instagram, or you know what I'm saying, somebody booty shaking on you on Twitter, or you know what I'm saying, you hitting a vape or whatever the case may be, like you doing some other stuff, cursing, all stuff. Like that's why it's important, kids, that you actually listen to your parents when they say the stuff that you're listening to is not appropriate, because if you do not have that stuff done, man, you will get in trouble when it comes to your image. Okay, so name, image. So your name, Shaq Bryant. Your image, what do? Okay, well, football coach, motivational speaker, podcast host, video personality, influencer, father, husband, future, mentor to not only young people, but grown men. You see what I'm saying? So everything that comes with you, those dynamics. So could I get a NIL deal? You got darn right. But will I get an NIL deal? Man, listen, I'll take whatever God has for me. In fact, I'll take that Joe Rogan money. That podcaster, man, he makes $100 million a year. And I'm going to celebrate him, man. I talk about him a lot, but I'm going to celebrate him. You know why? Because for him to open up the lane for 100 mil, when I get up there, I can see 200 mil. Bruh. So everybody before you got to show homage, pay homage, man, because they opening that door. I appreciate you, Joe. I'm about to go get that 2 stat. You know what I mean? Hey, but so likeness, basically what that is this: your name, Shaq Bryant, your image. I already told you your likeness. Do you like being around me? Do you like my content? Do you like what I do? When you see my videos on Instagram, do you like them? You know what I'm saying? When you see my stories, do you watch them? You know, just knowing that, like, I have 10,000 on Instagram, I have 19,000 on Twitter, right? And so when I post on Instagram, I get a lot of traction. When I post on Twitter, I don't really be on there like I used to. So I'm trying to build my traction. Same thing with Facebook. But are people liking you? Do people like your content? How long do they stay engaged? Things of that nature. So that's your likeness. How much can a company take your likeness and the way people respond to you, and can it make money for the company? So that's the likeness. Now, let me tell you what NIL is and why it's important. First off, NIL is this. Hey, long Nike. I got on Nike right now. Nike, if you see this, sponsor me, bro. For real. Like, we growing. I'm going to do my thing. Nike, come holla at me, man. Shaq Bryant. Me. No, straight up, man. Hey, well, look. So when a company finds out that you have those 3 things, a name, a brand name that you've branded your name. I'm good at podcasting. So they look at that, my name. Okay. All right. So your image, are you doing stuff that's positive? Yes. Are you showing bad things on your website? No. Is everything positive with you? Yes. Okay. What's your likeness? Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. All right. So Joe Smo Crab Barrel, we gonna give you $5,000 to sign autographs, $5,000 to mention us on your podcast every day. And that's how it goes. Okay. So that's what it is. But in the realm of this, most of the time is in sports, but it really can be in anything. Why it's important to the school? Well, we just talked about briefly why it's important to the athlete. Well, let's say this. If I did all of that, boom, I'm getting a monetary gain. Now, how does it affect the school? Well, this is how it affected. All right. So let's say Shaq is going to Podcast University, right? So I go to Podcast University. I come on there and be like, hey, look, man, I'm going to rock these podcasts, whatever. I'm bringing Sally Podcast Essentials with me. They sponsor me. And and so why is it important to school that I'm coming in, I'm bringing Sally Podcast Essentials, right? Well, the reason why it's important is this, is that the school builds off of that. Because I'm coming to their school, other people are going to want to know more about that school. The more I do well at that school, the more the school benefits from that. So basically, it's a win-win. Now, how does it affect the company? Well, every time I go and I rep Nike, sign me, man, for real. Hey, sponsorship deals. So, so every time I rep Nike, while I'm repping Sally Joe's podcasting essentials, we all getting it in. So basically, I'm getting 5,000 every time I go sign autographs, and Nike is bigging me up every time I do something well. Well, how does that affect the school, the university? We just talked about it. It's going to be more exposure. It's going to be more Nike trying to sell contracts in there, trying to build their brand. Sally Essentials, they're going to start getting their name out there. So that's how it benefits the company. Every time I do good, they're doing good. If I get on a podcast like I am today and I wear a Nike shirt, that man reminds you of Nike. When you look at my shirt, if it looks good, that reminds you of Nike. So they want to get as much apparel to people as possible because that's going to help you. So that's what NIL is. That's how it affects everybody. That's how you get your draw. That's how everything happens. Okay. So why are they doing this now? There's some great stuff that I talked to my Uncle Cornell about earlier, and it's great to bounce, stuff off of somebody that you respect, especially when it comes to sports and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because that way you get a feel for what people want to hear. And so basically we were talking about, NIL and how that came about and stuff like that. And, this is how it came out. All right. When I went to University of Memphis, all right, back in the day, we were getting a per diem. Our coach would hand us a check. We would go cash it. We were to pay our bills with that check. We were to eat with that check. If you stayed off campus, you got more than the people, obviously, that stayed on campus because they already had room and board. So those people that stayed on campus, they would get a little bit under like what is now like $1,000 or $1,200, right? But back in the day, you know what I'm saying, it was a little different. But things didn't cost that much. Inflation was down. We didn't go to war. Or actually threaten Putin and Russia. It wasn't no Soviet Union back there. But nobody was in a war. Nobody was bombing, and our gas prices wasn't $90 a piece. I went to the doggone gas station the other day, man. I promise you, a car that usually fills up for $25, man, it filled up for not even filled up. It got to a third of a tank for 45. Man, come on, bro. Like, if I really saw Joe Biden right now, I'd be like, bruh. And the funny thing is, he trying to blame this junk on the war and stuff like that. Man, this don't got nothing to do with the war. Man, we had bad gas prices last May. If anybody don't remember that, when all of that stuff hiked up and they said that the oil plant or whatever, and we went up to a crazy number. Man, that junk is wild, man. President Biden should be arrested. Hey, FBI. Hey, but back to the script though. So listen, so how did this come about? When I was at University of Memphis, man, we got a per diem, man, for being on full scholarship. They were not allowed to pay players. If you were caught taking any money or anything from anybody, you would get immediately the school would get in trouble. They'll be put on probation, and they'll lose scholarships. Well, that's not to say that it didn't happen. I'm not saying any names or what happened to whoever, but I mean, envelopes with nobody knowing what's in them. You saw the program, you know how it go. But but they weren't allowed to do that. I remember, a matter of fact, the podcaster, I forget his name, but he went to UCF and he was a kicker, man, and he wound up getting his social media and his likeness up. And they said, look, man, you're making money off YouTube. Either you cut down the YouTube page or you need to stop playing, because you can't fulfill your scholarship, or you can't make money and still be eligible. So he was like, man, bump that. I'm out of here. and guess what? People like that, man. And I'm not gonna even try and guess my man's name because I'm gonna mess it up. Oh, Destroying. That's who it is. Destroying. Yeah. But he actually helped to make this a reality, man. People investigating that and looking into his situation, that actually him standing at the forefront is not the equivalent to Rosa Parks. It's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that he was very instrumental in this stuff passing. So basically, we couldn't do that. But now they passed it maybe about 2 years back, 3 years back. They wound up saying athletes can be paid. Now, that's a monumental thing for real, man, because let me tell you, because these companies, man, they make so much money off of people, is ridiculous. Like, for instance, jersey sales. If you're selling a jersey that got my number on it, that jersey right there from Memphis back there, 87, they sold that jersey. People bought that jersey. People were in the stands with that jersey. Why didn't I get no money? It was because of me that they were wearing the jersey. See, if that jersey had Memphis on it and didn't have any numbers, well, that's different, because you'll be representing Memphis. But when you put a number on it, you're wearing your favorite player. Your favorite player should be getting some compensation off of you guys using them to sell that jersey. If not that were the case, they would have bought a Memphis with a 00 on it. You know what I mean? And you have to understand that. But, on top of that, man, not only the jersey sales, but these video games, man. Remember EA Sports 2014? People who were gamers definitely remember that, man. It was an awesome game. But that last game, man, that was the last time they made it in 2014. I happened to be on 3 video games. My last video game was Arena Football. I was ranked at 89. Go check it out. Ranked at 89. When I was on the other 2 video games, I was like a 63, something like that, and a 69, something like that. I don't know, 59, 54, I don't know, something like that. It was whack. I know I was better than that. But basically what I'm saying is this, is that these companies have been making money for a long time on these athletes. They wound up getting a settlement. And we were talking with my uncle, and it was a basketball dude named Bohannon. I think, yeah, Bohannon. And basically he was over his friend's house, man, and playing, the game or whatever. And then he was like, yo, that's me. He ain't make no money. Same thing. Like when the NCAA came out, everybody on Memphis team would actually go to, the NCAA and see how they, graded us or whatever. Now, back in those days, the mid-major schools like Memphis, we didn't have, the upstanding, ratings and stuff like that. They gave those to, the Florida States and the Floridas and all of that stuff, Alabamas, you know what I mean? But they tried to play us because we were the mid-major D1. Now you have so many D1s, is ridiculous. But before, you didn't have all of that. You know what I mean? But so basically they had a settlement, man. We wound up getting paid for that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the attorneys, but like my uncle was saying, if I would have got, by myself or whatever, got a lawyer by myself, then, I would have came out with more money. That's real. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do it. So, so somebody got paid off of me. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, hey, I would have had bags. I would have had bags. I would have had bags. All right. So so basically, these people were getting paid off of everything, school to university, man, NCAA. NCAA is a $10 billion company. That was in 2003. Now NCAA probably is a $14 billion company per year. Why are they so big? Well, let me tell you, everybody got to go through them to schedule your referees. Every conference have to pay them to schedule host games and to make sure that you're sanctioned. And then when traveling and stuff is going on, a lot of times school will pay the NCAA to make sure that their travel arrangements or their accommodations are paid for, when they show up to, Houston, that they can get a certain hotel or whatever the case may be. So the NCAA is really, when you look at it, it's really a pimp and a prostitute game. You know what I mean? So the NCAAs, of course, are the pimps, and the prostitute, of course, are the players. They're doing all the work. They're putting in all the time. And guess who's getting paid? The NCAA, the pimp. So with that being said, man, you gotta make sure you watch out for, your business. You gotta make sure you watch out for yourself. Now let's talk about, we're gonna do two segments. I just thought about that. I mean, I was gonna get into who's doing what with the NILs, but I like to have these shows, 30 minutes long, man, because I think that people don't have our attention spans, you know what I mean? And I want to make sure I'm giving quality and not quantity, if that makes sense. But I do know content is king. This is the 37th episode. We are doing numbers. Remember, we stream every day. And so make sure y'all check us out. But we're going to do a quick motivational segment, okay? Give me about 7 minutes, man, and we're going to be out of here. We already put up like 23 minutes. But what I want to talk about is this. I want to talk about why not you? Why not you? And then the second thing I want to talk about is you have to believe. All right. Why not you? And you have to believe. All right. Now check it out. Um, you know, why not you? Right. And look, the thing is this is that when you are going through life, right? The first thing that gets stripped is our confidence. First, right out the gate. Think about it. You come through life, yeah, man, I'm the best, man. I'm the best around here. Da 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 da. Playing pound ball, scoring a whole bunch of touchdowns, playing youth recreational ball, scoring a whole bunch of touchdowns, doing basketball, scored a whole bunch of goals. You know, we get into the mindset that we are the best. So when we finally meet adversity, and when we finally hit resistance, when we haven't been hitting resistance before, we have two ways we can go. We can go up or down. But eventually you're going to hit some adversity that's going to change your life. And it's not talking about not playing for a season. It's talking about stepping away from your goals and your dreams. But the question is why not you? Why do you not deserve to keep going? And I said my uncle a couple times in this thing, but one thing he said to me that really stuck out to me, besides him giving me some great advice, and I appreciate that, but he was like, man, keep going. And so you got to look at that. And I had to look at that. Why would he say that? Because that's what we do. If you find a little success, we say, you know what, that we're good. That's enough. But if you meet hardships or failure, we also say that's enough. When you're making money, you could be doing it good, man. Next thing you know, boom, they're gone. Jerry Springer. Look at Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer had the wildest show, man. He's talking about everything on that show, man. Dating your sister, all type of stuff, man. It was so wild and controversial. It made people look, because it felt like we weren't supposed to be watching it, but everybody watched it, man, and we loved it, bro. They had little people, with big people. They had all they had all type of stuff, man. They had people who kill people and all type of stuff. Then they had, you know, like I said, dating your cousin, dating your mother, dating your auntie. Like, it was terrible. And then when the husbands would find out, when everybody would find out, they would go crazy. So it made for great entertainment. But where is Jerry Springer now? Nobody knows at all. He did a couple spin-off things or whatever. My point is keep going. Once you have a brand, that's not the time to stop. When you have a brand, that's when you want to make more money. That's when you want to be more creative. Look at Jay-Z. Jay-Z is a mogul. Jay-Z started out as a rapper. His name was Jazz O. And the guy named Jazz O was like, man, like, what are you doing taking my name? That's when he changed to Jay-Z. He was a rapper, street dude. Then guess what? He kept rapping. He kept selling records. He kept getting good at his craft. They said Jay-Z would go in there and one take come out with a hit song. That's how real he was. Kanye West, who did H to the Izzo, that was the beat, man. And he wind up, what you call it? He wind up going in there with one take and wind up making a classic song. You know what I mean? Like what we have to realize is this, is that when it comes down to your life, your dream, your goals, you have to be protective of this stuff. You just can't just say, okay, well, I made it, or okay, well, this is this. No, you have to keep creating your craft. You have to keep doing what you're supposed to do, because if you're not doing that, then guess what? You are shortchanging not only yourself, you're shortchanging your life. And if you remember, this is the song right here. The flow eccentric, always timeless. Been anywhere in the world. H to the Izzo. V to the Izzy. For Shizzy Manizzi used to dribble down in VA. That song right there, man. He went in there and popped one tape on it. I was holding it up because I was trying to find it for y'all, because it was so implemental in hip hop. But you know, Kanye West, who's a struggling producer. Well, not a struggling at that point. He was already a producer, but he was a struggling artist because nobody took him serious. But he's put that beat in front of Jay-Z. Jay-Z killed it in like 15 minutes. That song wind up selling millions of copies. Guess what Jay-Z does after that? Jay-Z starts to put together Rockefeller. You know, it's the Rock. And they used to throw their hands up. You know what I mean? He wound up putting them together. And so guess what? So not only did he rap, he put people on, he signed artists, and he made a whole group of like 30 people. And then guess what he did? Kept climbing. And guess what Dame Dash did? Dame Dash wound up getting mad because Jay-Z was getting bigger than him when Dame Dash was the visionary at first. But Jay-Z was down there rapping, was like, man, why not me? And that's the segment for today. You know, why not me? Why can't I have more? Why can't I just be more than a rapper? When the last time you heard Jay-Z rap? Don't worry, I'll wait. You're not going to hear him rap because he's not a rapper anymore. He's a mogul. He's a businessman. You know what I mean? He's a family man. And so when it comes down to that, is why not me? Then we got to chase that thing. You know what I mean? Then you have to believe. You know, it's funny to me that we give people directives as if we think that is going to happen for them. For instance, if somebody's mad or if I'm angry, my mom's going to be like, Shaq, calm down. But if you think about it, when you say something like that, is the person really going to calm down? if anything is going to make them madder or angrier, you know what I'm saying? But we still believe that it's going to. Hey, calm down. A lot of times, if you tell a hyper kid or something like that, hey, chill out, man. Do they really chill out? I know as a school teacher, when I'm dealing with these teenagers, sometimes I really have to be like, man, if you don't stop, man, I'll take you outside. And then look, the kids actually respond to that. You know what I'm saying? That's actually funny because they'll be in a minute like, yo, they'll be in a minute like, hey, yo, I got you, coach. My bad, man. I was tripping. You know what I mean? Because why? Because everybody wants to be disciplined. Everybody wants to, be under control. But the thing is this, is that we have to believe the same way we tell somebody, hey, calm down, man. Hey, come here. When we tell our kids to come here, we expect them to come here. But when we believe that we could be good at something, we don't even believe our dream to come here. But we'll tell our kids to come here, but not our dreams, though. I'm going to pick that up in a minute. But hey, look, we about to wrap this show up, man. I appreciate the segment, man. Time goes by when you're having fun, I promise you. Hey, but look, appreciate everybody that's been supporting Uncle Carnell, man. You never know how much that meant to me, man. Hey, thank you to everybody that rock with me, man. Remember, blood is thicker than water only in certain cases. You need water to live. You learn that in the basics. And Uncle Carnell, I appreciate you, boy.